Coach, you're at about the halfway point of this season. We haven't had a chance to talk in a while because you've been on the road and because of the weather and such. Update us on how things are going right now.
We're we're progressing. I mean, we're about, I guess, where we want to be. Maybe not necessarily record wise, but health wise, defensively, there's still some things that we've got to get better at. But I see our team getting better. I saw it right before the break with Eaton and the Huntington North games for sure. Those were both really big, really good wins for us. And then we played really well down in our tournament. The Milwaukee game, the third game, we didn't play some kids who were banged up, and it was kind of a rough physical deal. And so the score is a little bit misleading. Not saying that we would have won that game or anything else, but the gap occurred when we sat two or three of our better players for health and recovery reasons, you know. At that point, you always try to win, but in a fifth-place game that's really physical in the second game of a day, you know, with McKenzie, we just wanted to rest her. So we're getting there. We played a tough Mount Vernon team, tough. We just couldn't get over the hump, and now we got a tough KOKOMO team tomorrow night. So we're progressing, we're developing, we still got work to do.
Coach, the health issue just always seems to be cropping up for you, and you can't seem to catch a break. Looks like Lex is going to be out for a couple more weeks, and then I guess you kind of play it by ear. How much does that set you behind right now?
I don't know that it does because we've kind of adjusted. You know, I mean, we haven't had her since Danville.
Yeah.
You know, so we've had about a month without her. Now, she's a huge part of what we want to do, but we've been moving along and give kids credit that they haven't, you know, they're not looking over their shoulder waiting on her. They've moved forward, and we'd love to have her back. And we do have positive signs. It is positive progress. It's looking better and better. She's getting healthier and healthier. But, again, with a young kid, we got to be smart. So I don't know that it's really set us back, but obviously we haven't been full strength since Centerville, and even then we had Tasia Ferguson out. So, I mean, we have not played a game this year with our full 11 ready to go that we thought. And that's where, you know, depth and development of younger kids, and that's where it's kind of hurting us that we don't have it, because most teams have 12 or 13, you know, and we have 10 or 11, and then we get one or two hurt, and now you're at 7 or 8. And so we've got to, as coaches and as a community, hopefully continue to develop youth programs and continue to develop younger kids so that when we have those bumps and bruises that inevitably happen, we can survive a little bit better.
Is it, though, a positive for you that without being healthy in any one game that you've still played as well as you have? I mean, you've played a pretty tough schedule, and yet in a lot of those games you're right in there.
Yeah, we really have. I mean, we've had 2 letdowns against Rushville and Anderson, and everything else has been a competitive game that's made us better. And so, yeah, our schedule is fairly tough. If you look at the Sagarin ratings and things like that, our big number statewide isn't very good, but when you look at our strength of schedule versus people ranked in front of us, it's a lot better. And one thing that hurts us in strength of schedule is that they don't take into account the out-of-town teams that we play. So National Trail, who's struggling a little bit, doesn't count. Eaton's only got 2 losses.
Yeah.
You know, they're a really pretty good team, but they don't give us any help as far as strength of schedule. We played the state runner-up in Kentucky from last year, don't get any help from that. We played a really talented Chaminade Julian team, don't get any ranking. You know, we played a tough team, Rufus King out of Milwaukee, that's like 7-3 or something like that right now. And we don't get any help from those. So if you look at those numbers, they're a little misleading. But, yeah, I think it is kind of a blessing in that we're going to get a double-double machine back at some point. We're going to be able to add her into our lineup. But I'm just happy that our kids haven't waited. You know, they've continued to get better. They've continued to work and go forward.
As you mentioned, you play KOKOMO coming up on Friday night. And, listen, I don't have to tell you how tough it is to go up there and play. And I know they haven't been that powerhouse team. They had been there for several years, but they're always very good and very good at home. Talk about what they'll bring to the table tomorrow night.
They're really balanced. They've got 3 really good guards. They've got some solid post players. They're just a really balanced team. Jason does a great job. They'll be very prepared. They've probably seen every game that we've played twice. Their kids have probably watched it twice. I mean, you know, they're very thorough. They're very prepared, and we're going to have to be on top of our game. You know, one thing that's hurting us, we're not shooting the ball really, really well right now, and we've got to get kids with some confidence, and we've got to get a little more aggressive attack in the basket when we're missing our jump shots. You know, we've got to go with an attacking, aggressive mentality tomorrow and take the fight to them. We can't come out on our heels and let them get on a run at home.
You know, the last time I saw you play, I think that was Huntington, and you shot extremely well that night, especially after the first half, and you dominated the second half. What is it about the shooting now?
I think that we've gotten a little bit tired, and we've had a few kids who are in a slump, and then they start thinking too much, and, you know, that's a problem that you have, especially with girls basketball. They can overthink things sometimes, and, you know, But we've been focusing a lot on shooting in practice, and we've just got to get a couple to drop. We're leaving a lot of stuff short. Our legs aren't necessarily underneath it, and we've shortened our practice time at this time of year to give them a little more bounce. And we'll be short again tonight, and we'll shoot the ball a lot. And we have the talent to shoot the ball well. We just haven't shot it great. The difference between us and Fortville was they hit clutch shots, and we left ours off the front of the rim. And so we've got to continue to improve on that.
Coach, one last thing, and have some of your younger players, I'm not expecting the older players or the varsity type players that have been in this game before to hit the wall. Have some of the younger players kind of hit the wall right now? Because it does have a tendency to be a long season.
I think a little bit, yeah. And, especially when you're talking about a freshman, who's done a lot but hasn't done it at this level. One thing that kind of in some ways helped her was having that ankle injury, because she got a couple weeks where she was just rehabbing and it wasn't as much pressure on her. But she's a competitive kid. She'll bounce back. And then we're playing a couple of sophomores too that are still kind of figuring things out. And so I think that is some of it. We gave them some time off over the break when we could. In the last couple of snow days, we were off on Monday, and that helped, and we were light on Tuesday. And so I think there's some things that you'll see start to pay benefits soon. But, yeah, I think a little bit they've hit that wall. And it's different. It's difficult.